They're allowed to hit the children. They're allowed to hit the children. They're allowed to hit the students. And if they die, they're exempt. Yes. The Gemara says on Marcus, if you hit your child or you hit your student, even if he learned and he's a good student, but it's good that you hit him all the time, because then you train him to listen. It's always a mitzvah. Gemara says even Aval Gav the Gomi, it's a mitzvah. If you hit him, you give pleasure to yourself, which means he's going to be trained. So it's good to beat up your children. So my father, bless his memory, used to say, if a Rebbe is allowed to hit your student, to hit and kill him, so if his intention is to train him, so if he hits him to train him and he kills him, he's allowed. Surely he's allowed to embarrass him and give him musa to train him and to change him, even though he's embarrassed. Because the Gemara says, if you shame the face of your friend in public, is one of the three things you have to give your life for. Jesus says, according to one answer, you have to give your life for it. You can't. It's better to jump into the furnace of fire. He says, like killing him. He says, yes, I'm allowed to kill my students. My goal, my intention is to what? To train him. So physically or spiritually or emotionally, it's the same. Therefore, if a Rebbe gives Musa to a student and he shames him in public, it's a mitzvah koving. If he has the right intention. What? The Gemara says that even though he's trained as a good student, it's a mitzvah to beat him up, because then 10 ma'adanim and afshecha.
Is it so that because the child and the student are the children of the Rebbe, of their
right,
that if they don't do the right job with him, they're higher. The Rebbe is higher for the fact that he did train the child.
Right, like they wanted to kill. David wanted to kill his Rebbe. He didn't train him well. Wanted to kill him. Right.
You love his child and you give him Musa.
כן. Yes. כל פונים.
One of these the Chiddush is comes from Abba.
Yes.
As you see, if you know, you get a makar.
So the joke goes that if the Rebbe has kavona to train, he says photo goes. So other Rabbi says he's doing a mitzvah. But if the Rebbe added a little bit more because he got angry, personal thing there, so maybe his hype goes on that. So that's why all those yeshivas have to go to Golus, they have to go to America, the exile to raise money. That's what the joke goes. That's the joke. That's a joke, but it's a serious joke. Yes.
No, somebody has a big question.
Yeah.
A big question.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, yes.
Yes, because maybe he felt that it was a little extra more than the student needed. But if the Rebbe feels the student needs that, so then he's the other Rabbi is a mitzvah kol. Yaser bincho v'ten ma'adonim nafshecha.
But what did the student?
Same thing. Why ma'adanim? Because he's going to be trained. Okay, let's go back to us. So we're starting now, Dav Zayin Amud Aleph, the sugi of Orei, the Siyata Dishmai. So my goal today, I want to do the Reb Kiva Eiger, that's what I want to do. So we're going to finish the Rashbo inside, which we started this morning and the other days. And I want to finish the Rashbo and then see the Reb Kiva Eiger, the Nafkaminas, and be exact on what he says. And he's a stage with Tzorechim Ladina. It's not so clear. It's not so clear. Okay. So we started with the Rashba this morning. We'll continue on in the Rashba. So let's go over what the Rashba is talking about. The Rashba in the Chet Amud Beis, it's in fourth page in the fifth Amud in the Diaspora Yeshiva books, papers. Okay? So the Gemara speaks about if the man tells the woman, I want to give you 100 sous, you marry me, he says, put it on a rock. She's not Mikudeshes. But she says, put it on a rock, and it's her rock. So the question is why? Why, when it's on the rock, she's not, even when it's not her rock, she's not Mikudeshes. Why is she not Mikudeshes with Din Orev? That he listens to her. He valued her. So there's a couple of things. So the Rashba brings a couple of things, and he attacks them, and then he gives his own tenets. And then he gives an understanding how Orev works, which is very important for us. It's another understanding how Arevus works. Reuven, I told them not to leave before.
No.
Why? First of all, they need to get food. How are they going without food? Who's going to pay for it? She already paid for it. We already ordered.
But then she said too. Maybe I take it.
No, you take it before it comes.
Okay.
So I told him, you don't have to stay for the shul. I finish the shear, you go right away and take the food. You go out with them. Okay.
Thank you very much.
So you save money. One of a Tuesday, I have Mesudo food. Good. So there are two answers that he brings down. One answer, he says, depends if she said, if she told, give money to Ploini, so she said that she wants to be Mekudeshes through this, so it works. But there, she said, put on a rock. She didn't say, I want to marry him, just put on a rock. Looks like a pushel. That's Toys's answer. He brings a Yesh Mefoshim, that both places, here and on the rock, here means she told the husband, give money to Ploini and Mekadesh, we didn't know that. In the case, put on a rock, both places, she said, I'll marry you. The difference is, on the rock, he can take money back. When he gives the gifts to Ploini, he cannot get the money back. He gave it a gift. So when she says, do something, and it's a serious thing that you cannot retract, that's a rebus. But when she tells him to do something, he does, and he can take it back, so it's not, so there's no rebus. Okay? Same thing is, by a dog. Sorry, but if she said, threw that money into the sea, and I'll marry her. So then you can never take it back, because in the sea you cannot take it back. So she's Mekudeshes. Same thing is, give it to the door. You never get it back. But why is that Mekudeshes? Because she didn't say Mikun Niskadesh. But if she said, it'll be Mekudeshes. This is what he brings down Yesh Metaratz. Again, let's go over again in short. The Yesh Metaratz said, it's not a matter, the difference between Davov and Davchet, putting on a rock, that she's not Mekudeshes, says, marry me, says, put it on the rock, she's not Mekudeshes. It's her rock, yes. And 10 minutes of the plane, he says, Mekudeshes, why? Both should be Arems. So the Yesh Mefoshim answered, if it's irretractable act, so then it's Aremus. Do something for me, throw it to the sea, give it as a gift, it's not retractable, so it's Aremus. I'm taking responsibility. I'm a guarantor. But if I ask to do an act and you can take it back, so it's not an act that I'm a guarantor on it.
Did you marry him?
She said I'll marry him. But it's not a serious act, it's not serious. Okay.
What kind of rock?
Yes, it's her rock, yes, but it's not her rock. So he can take it back. It's not a rock in the middle of the sea, it's a rock there. You pick it up. Okay. The Kashili, I'm in the middle of the Rashba. Look at the Rashba. In the count 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 lines from the second Rashba. 8 lines down from the second Rashba. Rashba Dafchet Amud Beis. The Kashili. There's a Kashi. The in ken bo yokelev ratzachar. If so, like the Yesh Mefoshim, that if irretractable act is an aremus, if not. Why? The Gemara has a question. If a dog is running after a woman, they say, you know what? If I will save him the dog, you marry me? She says, yes. That's the Gemara's question. Kelel ratz acharya. There's a dog running after her. And she said, am I married? She says, yes. So she's, the ano of being saved. But who I know the kamatza nafshu minei. To that I know that she was saved from the dog. Gom hu mekan nafsho, she is willing to mekadosh herself. Or Dilma, she says, there's a chiyuv from the Torah to save me. She did you chiyuv, so I'm not mekadosh you take. So this Gemara, the Gemara, Rashba wants to attack this page. The Kashili, the Ken Boy, Kelev Ratzachareo, the Gemara should have said the signage is Mekudeshes, with the pleasure that she was rescued, she's miskadej. The Gemara should have said that. That's the way the Gemara should have said. Since she saved from him, so she meant to be Mekudeshes. Which means why? Because the whole doubt is the only shaila is what she meant really for Kiddushin or not. She said, give it for me, or for your thing, not for me. That's the doubt. The doubt is if she really meant Kiddushin or not. So the Gemara should not talk about the ano being rescued. It's not the question is she's miskadosh b'ano rescued, or there's no ano because you're doing your obligation. No, the question is when he rescues, she really meant without ano to be miskadeshes. The ano is there. The question is she meant to obligate herself to kiddushin or not. The listen in the language, the ba'i ano the komro without pleasure. The Gemara, the Gemara is saying mashma diikar taima. It's mashma that the main reason that no lakelev give it to the dog or nichel, I said I'll put it to the rock, which is all one list of doubts. Ein oil mishum is only because the loshokro meat in this cottage she didn't receive any. It's not a question if she meant for kiddushin or not. It's only a question she received ano or not. So we say you rescued me, I received ano or no. You did your chiyuv of the rights, I didn't receive ano. The question is I received ano or not if the ano is for the sake of kiddushin or not.
If she have a pleasure because the men do whatever she wants, they have a illusion.
Right.
Why when she say putting that rock is not mine, but you as a man make you like what she wants, must be illusion.
Right.
But I think that they are and jihad because that's
okay. We're not saying your pshat. We want to know what the Rashba holds. So the Rashba brings Yesh Mefoshim, and Yesh Mefoshim learn that the shaila is if there's no retracting, so then she obligated herself. When you can retract from the act, it's not an obligation. Or the first pshat is if she said it's Kaddish, she meant to Kiddushin, if not. So for the Gemara's mashma that the shaila she received them or not received them. And when a dog was running after her, I forgot even though the physical pieces of bread that he gave to the dog, she didn't receive. Or Isla, no, she still has pleasure, side pleasure, not the piece of, not the loaf of bread, rather a side pleasure. Isla, no, the pleasure of rescue. The Shabbat Allah Puta is worth a Puta. How do we see from this? Because that's what the Gemara says. The kicker of the dog, the saving of the dog, is a pleasure or not pleasure because she did the obligation. It's mashma the shayla, you get a pleasure, you didn't get a pleasure. Although you didn't get the physical kicker, but the dog gave it, but you got pleasure rescued, and that's considered a pleasure or not. Alma, we see from that. It's not a question if she said miskadash, she didn't say miskadash. The Agav the Kol miskadash l'chol in the Kudeshes, even though she said him because not the Kudeshes. Why? Because I didn't receive anything because she did your chiyuv. On the other side, no, I did receive because she rescued. So Shaila, did I receive or no or not? Even though I didn't receive the physical thing. Comes the Rashi because of this raya. Umistabro, therefore he wants to say no pshat negemo. The loy lo meinu mekudeshes. Really, when a woman dictates to her husband to do something, to a man to do something, she's never mekudeshes. Ella only in those type of cases. Now he's giving out the cases. Beposhto yoda bekiblosa. When she stretches her hand and she receives the money. That's the classical case. Classical. Or Sha'am or Little Bendas. He said, give it to a Bendas, third party. She miskadesh in Orev, Kilo Kiblosahi. She's mikadeshes from Orev as if she received it.
Opposite of the Rashba before.
No, the Rashba said, when you do my words, it's as if I received it.
The Rashba say three things. Do whatever
So,
I want.
right. One second, he said good. The Rashba before said, so when he does it upon my words, I received ano. But he didn't explain which ano. Here he says, as if she received it. So received it as the ano of the whole value of the. I think that's you have to know. Very good. So we have a steer here. 1 second, I want to relate to what Rabbi Shlomo said. The Rashba Davov said, he says, "Iskachli banozu shani noise maton zulo zebedi burech." I'm giving a gift upon your words. That's the ano. Even an abakab the money. And he says, when she told her to give it a bendas, midino kibu kiblosohi. Okay. What? Kiilu kiblatohi. Now, when I'm reading now, the last paragraph, the black sticking letters, thick letters are black. Yeah, what we got to. No, he needed clarification because here he says kilu kiblosohi, and there he said no maton azul zabedibur. He didn't say the words kilu kiblosohi. And not only that, he says mamash eno mekablo. Rather, I got ano, and he says kilu kiblosohi. What does that mean? It means I received the ano. Kilu kiblosohi means mitzad the ano that he did her words. We'll see more. The Rashi will talk a lot more in another 6-7 lines. Inami. We have to clarify. 1 second, but it will clarify himself. Understand, it needs clarification. Here he stretches the point, here, and before he said, I'm getting pleasure, that's your pleasure.
And she okay.
Okay, inami. Another way he said, when she said, give it to my dog, give the bread to my dog. Mishum the mishtar shelo, she gained not to give a meal to the dog. He gave dog food for her. She doesn't have to buy afternoon dog food. Avakilu kiblosa as if she received it. It's her dog, it's her rock. Even though she didn't stretch the point that it's for Kiddushin, Kol Shomal is catching was the one new. She said, marry me with this. She says, give it. They'll give it to me, out to me. My dog, my hand, or to this bendas. The kosher kiblosoy, as long as she received it, she admitted what she said. וכן בשומות נאו-לפלויני בן דאס בכל מזור. ודוקום הריסקדה של לחודש she needs to say riskada. אבל לא אומר לחודש, he wants to say like this. If she said, put it on my rock, give it to my dog, or give it to my hand, she doesn't have to say riskada של לחוד. She says, I'm going to give it to you for marriage, and she puts her hand, she agrees to what she says. She received it. Her dog, her hand. But when she says, give it to Ploini Bendas and I'll marry you, she needs to say, I'll marry you. But if you didn't say the Kaddish L'cho, since the third party is not directly, totally to her, to make it like to her, she needs to stress the point, it's Kaddish L'cho. We don't know yet. In this Likud, I don't know yet. and Amud Beis will be more clarified. Then you can ask your questions. V'ainu tenem la'aba v'avicho nem loni. There's no difference. I said, give it to your father, give it to my father, give it to a poor person. If she didn't say, I'll marry you, so it doesn't mean anything. Aval Omer lo yitneu lekelev she'eno, she said, give it to another dog. Give it to the dog, but not her dog. But she said, v'eskalish ani lecho, for the sake of Kiddush. Ve'inichoso al gabesela, he put it on a rock. She'eno shelo, not hers. Alpha P Shom v'eskalish lecho. Even though she said, I'll marry you. Inami ashlech mon al hayam v'kelecho, throw it to the sea and I'll marry you. This is not like this reproaching. Why? Not like Toises. The Fishloikiblo Mimenu, she didn't receive from him. She didn't directly receive in her hands, on her rock, on her dog, to say that because of the pleasure that received her, she's married. He said, I'm giving you pleasure for the sake of marriage. She doesn't have to say anything. But when she didn't receive, a third party received. So even a third party is a human being, it's a ben das, and she said for the sake of Yerusha would work. But if there's no third party, he said throw it to the sea, throw it to the rock, who knows, nobody gets it. Upon her words that he says I will do it for the sake of Yerusha, will not work. Even she says I'm willing to be Scottish. Why? Comes the Rashba and he says here, he redefines the concept of Arus. He do the whole thing. And Moshe is asking, we learned until now, when we learned the first Rashba, I'm doing your Rotzoy, or the Rambam, not only we saw clearly in the Ritva, when I say throw it to the sea, I did your Rotzoy, it says as if you receive it's good. He says no. Velo midina hut, why? Why, por qué? The please turn the page. The ain dinarus, now there's a lot of 3.5 black lines here. Okay? He redefines arus, and he says, again, what is the subject matter? Rabbi Yosef, Meir. What is the subject matter? According to the Rashba, if she received the Anah, she doesn't have to say for the sake of pleasure, for the sake of Kiddush. If a third party received Anah, she has to say for the sake of Kiddush would work. But if she tells us to throw it to the sea, put on the rock, it's not a matter you can take it back. Not even the sea cannot take it back. Even if she expresses herself, I want to be married to that, there's no din arvus. She didn't receive anything, and the arvus doesn't give her anything. There's no arvus. Why? Why? He says why. V'lo mi din arvus. The end din arvus ela comes the Rash when he says the law of arvus is it doesn't exist only. Only one who gives to Baal Zechia. What does Baal Zechia mean? What does Baal Zechia mean? A capable ability of the ability to make an acquisition. To a person which has the potentially to do acquisitions. Al pi dibur, upon her words. Because the guarantor, he's not obligating himself only because of Zechias Aloive. Only when the borrower acquires the loan to be spent by him. The call Shomot and one of the police guys, when she says give 100 zuz to play, I'll marry you. Even though the one that receives the money, he doesn't obligate himself to give back. Though matonu, it's a gift. So he received the gift. It's not no return obligation. Though matonu the kashor, he's receiving a gift. Mikol mokum, however, in Miskadesh's boy, she gets married with this. Be'oisano, that pleasure, and that pleasure that came to this bin Zechia with her words. Aval, but Kshamekabel Eina Bar Zechia, when the receiver is not a person which has the ability to merit, and kadin arvus, there's no arvus. Now we have to understand this in Svara. I don't want to explain this to the neighbors. Again, what does the Rashba say? The Rashba says, if she receives the money because it's her dog, it's her hand, so then she doesn't have to say I'm a Kaddish. If a third party receives it, he has to be a Bar Zechia. So because a third party enjoyed it, he doesn't have to return anything back, but he enjoyed it, and he's a person which has the ability to do Zechia, then we look at it as if he merited back to me and I give it back to him through my shliach, which is the lender or the Baal of the husband.
Third parties don't have to return.
But if the third party that received the money is a child, is a mute, is a deaf person, or I said there's no third party, throw it to the sea. The woman, the Olive tells the Malva, throw it to the sea. The woman tells the husband, throw it to the sea. So there's no third party who that can merit it. So then it doesn't work. There's no avos. Why? Who can give me a svara? Igra the Shmaitza svara. You have to give me a svara. What's the svara behind? He says, She'en din avos. I don't have the law of avos. Only if it's her daughter. She got it. So there's how avos. She received the pleasure. She doesn't have to say for the sake of avos. Or the third party received it. He's a bar zakia. So although he's not really magnet, when the person receives it, he's not returning anything. When the woman told the husband, give Yanko money, Yanko, he received as a gift. He has no return to it. There's no obligation to return. So why do I need him to be a bazakir? Why do I need him to be a person which has the ability to make an acquisition, even though he's not making an acquisition? Doesn't have to turn back. Doesn't have to acquire the loan and make a chiyuv, make an obligation, give it back. It's his forever. But still, in order for the owner to be obligated, when we say there's only din avus, the Rashba says there's no din avus if the third party that would say give it to the third party, like by a loan. The owner tells the lender, give it to the loive, and I believe myself. Why? Because the loive is about chiyuva. Because when the loive receives it, it's as if the guarantor says, I want you to do with your money what I want to give it to this guy. And then when this guy receives it, it's as if I got it and you give it back to him through you. But not shlichus like the Rashbam, that the Malva does the shlichus. According to the Rashbam, who's the messenger, who does the zechia in becoming a shliach is the lender. According to the Rashba, is the receiver. שאין דין אבוס אלא במשנויס אלא בזכייה על דיבור. לפי שאור רבנו מסחייב לפני זכייה אז הלויבה. When the Oreb says, when there's a loiva that merits the money, even though there's no return because of matona, Zechia makes me obligated out because he's as if he's returning back to me, and then I allow him to use it. So then he's instead of saying that the lender is as if giving it to me, he says, you know what, it's your money to do whatever you want. Okay, I'm willing to designate my money to your will. That's the way we learned the ritmo, right? That's what we learned before. That who does the zechia is the lender. The lender tells the Oreb, I'm willing to do with my money what you want, which means now it's your money to do what you want with it. So who really is giving the Oreb the money and doing the shlichus of the Oreb is the Malvin. That's what Rashbam is. Here the Rashba says no. The Rashba says when the Oreb is obligated himself, when the money is received by a third party, and he's a father, he is not a cheder, he's not a shoyt, the koton, he has the ability to zoiche. Even though he receives it with no obligation, no strings attached, it's a gift. But since it's about zechia and he enjoys it, and the lender gave the money to the husband or the lender, either way. The husband gave the money to a third party as a gift, and he doesn't owe any money back to the husband. It's a gift. But when the gift has been acquired by the receiver, so then, only then, I took responsibility. And then and what way I'm responsible is as if it's my money that he did it with his money. His money was designated to be my money to do what I want with it to give to this guy. So then there's a flaps as if I got it and I give it. So that flip is not being done when the money's coming out of the loiv of the husband. It's only when the money is being received by the mekabel by Zechir. That's just the Zechir, not Chir. Yes.
The Rico always puts his intention in the lender,
And the lender, yes.
and the Rashdo put the focus on the receiver.
Yes, but not only focus. We look as if he is the one that making the flip, as if the guarantor received it and he gives it to him. As if he received the money as if the Olive received the money.
But if you know that,
Through how? Through the receiving of, through the Zechia of the Mekabel.
that we can understand the Sugya.
Right. But 1 second. Now I want to ask you, now 1 second, Shleiman. So I want to hear you. At first I want to ask my question and give you a. So now, you ever heard this concept, Yuval Mebulbal?
Yeah.
Because it rhymes with the words. Israelis use Yuval Mebulbal. This used to be a famous TV show when I was a little kid. His name was Yuval. They made it his name. I don't know. The little kids. They call it Yuval Mebulbal. So I'm now becoming Yuval Mebulbal. I'm all mixed up. Why? I'm all mixed up. He started by saying, the Rash was starting by saying, by us, that he did, I got pleasure, the other receives pleasure that he did, that the husband did with his money, my request. That's my pleasure. And here he says, there's a flip. And not only that, who does the flip is not, which means as if the olive receives the money, and the flip is not being done through the husband, through the receiving has to be Barzechia. So I'm all mixed up. What do I need to have pleasure, which means that his money was, in order for the olive to have pleasure, that the money of the husband was designated for his desires. I gave a gift upon your words. So what he says, I gave, you know why you got a pleasure? Because who's I? The husband, the malve, he's the one that did what you request with his money to your request. So that's your pleasure that I did what you wanted with the money. He says, usage. He said it's a nas korasuach, or it's a nas shimush, right? Or you gain a put of it. So that's all those svaras we said. Good. But now we say something else. Now I'm all mixed up. He's saying, no, it's the receiver. The receiver, if it's a Barzechia, then he can flip it as if I received it. But if it's not Barzechia, it doesn't work. If let's say the woman tells her to throw the money to the sea, so he did my will. So I got pleasure that upon my words, he valued me. And first of all, it's a pleasure of value, and there's also a second pleasure that he did with this money what I wanted. So that's where I use this money and my wish. So to throw it to the sea, it's okay. Why he needs to be that he has to receive it, and now he has to somebody receive it has to be a person that was able to do zechia, to have the merit to do zechia, bar zechia, in order to flip it back to me. Who needs to flip? Well, you flip. You only to flip. You flip. You say that. You only to flip. Why are you flipping it? Why are you as if he received in his mouth? I know. We started by saying I know that he did your words. So now did your word has to do with between the woman and the husband. You gave honor doing a word. They have to come on now. He's receiving in Barzechia and he flips it. And not only that, if the Barzechia flipped it, so he married her. You want the husband to marry her. So what's going on? Why we need an extra thing? It should stop. He did your words. Boom. I don't take care. Anyone said he's flipping. Why by Kiddush? He says the same thing. The kosher of them on the Prekar. Who is not Barzechia by Kiddush? Yes.
But it doesn't have any impact. So he has to have. That's not.
1 second, 1 second. What happens if he is a chedesh? Does not have any impact. Other Rabbi, you never get that money back.
Not Baschir. Cherish is not Baschir.
So therefore what? So I think that's a svara. What Rabbi Yoshua gave me the svara here, this is what I like. Yes, first I want to explain what he said. You want to say Rabbi Shlomo first? Well, he said a very beautiful svara. He said a beautiful svara. And really, it's fitting with the Rashba before. That's the whole point of the Rashba. The whole point of the Rashba says, if you put on a rock that can take it back, says I never took my responsibility because it's not a serious act. When I cannot retract because it goes in the sea, so then a serious act. This was the Yeshua. Comes the Rashba, he says, no. When I throw it to the sea, I cannot retract. Doesn't obligate. Even if it says Kaddish, it doesn't obligate. But when somebody was Zoyhe, the third party, which is a Bar Zechia, is a Godol Bardas, it's not a Chere Shoyta Bekoto. So then, since he's a Bar Zechia, and he receives his Zoyhe, only then I can obligate myself as Medina Reis. So you have to say maybe it's the same kind of svor. The same way we said if I give it on a rock that I can take it back is retractable act. It's not a serious act that I'm mischayev. Also, in order to meet the mischayev, it's only when a person which is a bar das and the bar zechia receives it and get pleasure. What happens is a then the rabbis cannot look at it as if it was a flip, which means the rabbis didn't want to obligate the Orev just with words alone, or just because he did a wish in his money. The husband did his wish, the Malva did the wish with his money to the wish of the Orev. The husband did the wish of the wife of the woman with his money. Means he's giving her. That's the pleasure that he says. Those are virtual pleasure. The rabbis want to look at it as if the Orev got real money, as if he's the borrower. And therefore, he has all the responsibilities. The loive, the olive is a loive. The same thing is doing sins by olive. I want to make him a loive. Also by woman, I want to make him as if he received the money. When does the woman receive the money? When the person in the end of the chain, when the receiver is about Zechia, only then we can look at it. We can look at it as if it was flipped. But really, what she got the pleasure that was done on Pitibura. But that's really what she got. But the rabbis, the rabbis said, he's not believing. How as if he received it. So the rabbis made as if it was swift. Also by Kiddushin, if it's Medinore, the rabbis can make it a flip. But what will happen if I cannot make it a flip? But she got a no. She throw it on Rav Kimina. She says, it's rock for Narayam. I know she got. But the rabbis cannot look at the flip. He says it's no dinar. When did the Torah, there's a din Torah, it's not small of the rabbis, but he says the words Sa'u. No. 1 second.
She had the pleasure. He made his desire, and she only something to him because she had pleasure. As what happened?
Until now, it's a theory. I'll bring a proof later on for that one. But it's a long time. Yes.
Concept, I understand.
So what we want to understand? What do you want to answer? Do we answer kasha? What's a kasha? What does the Rashba mean? In the beginning, he said pleasure. The woman, the olive, and the woman received pleasure that her will is being done. He gave a gift upon her will. That's enough. It's a shimus. It's a no of kwerasruach. It's a no. And then he says, as if she received it. And he said, not only that, if she receives it, you have to have a bentas in the end of the thing as order to do baraschia. And if it's not a bentas, throw him on Oyam, even though you have, even though words are being done, Rochel is being done through to the sea, it's not enough, you have to have a benschia. Why we need those two parts, or what is it? Parts A, part B, or both? Or what do we need both? This is the question of the thing. Yes. Understand the problem? Simple. Yes, Robert.
Every vice divides the two.
Yes.
Halokim.
Yes.
The sea that divides the two.
Yes.
I know you said in Mekada.
No.
See, the Chiddush is by Chiddush of Orev,
there has to be noise in the Makabel. It's not done in the Sina. This is a Chid Darashba. Immediately, it has to be Barda, Bazechia, because it didn't in the Kabel, it didn't in the Sina.
Talk about Arevus of money or Kiddush?
Then actually Kiddush. Once I get the concept.
No, but we're learning from Arevus to us.
I know, but we get the concept.
So you have to, it's Mashmas a din in Arevus.
In Areva,
It doesn't start with Kiddush, start with Arevus. Yes, why has to be yes?
To be a mice in the Sina, to be a mice has to be, every Sina has two parts, giving and taking.
Where's the Xeris cost?
And when he gives, and she receives.
Yes.
A mice is giving and taking. So Albus is not, it has Albus is a mice in the Sina, is versus the cover. It mainly is.
So one second. So let's start with that. Why is that enough that he gave her Ano that he listened to her and not she received? Why has to receive of Akno's mama into the Zechir? You're jumping the two things. You start with Ano, that you don't need Gufa Dova, then you finish it with that there was a Zechir, the Gufa Dova. About Zechir. What? 1 second, Rabbi. What? That's what we're asking a kasha on the Rashba. We are mixed up. We can't figure out what the Rashba was going. He started by saying she received the law that he listened to her, he gave a gift upon her dibu. And he finishes by saying the ploini needs to be a barzechia to mezaka to her. So he's mezaka to her, she got the real good, she got the gufa money. Okay, he says kilu, she kilu mezaka, mezak mamish. But what I need the kilu, if she received the law that nosa matona pidibu, which is anoas kovoid, anoas shimush, whatever the ano is, or both, would have to come on that he's mezake. And not only what Rashba says, that the third party is not about Zakir. So what's going on? I'm Yuval Mebulbal. I'm a mixed up guy. I don't know what's going on in the Rashba. What's going on about it? Tell me, yes, but before you tell me, I want to hear Rabbi Shlomo. Yes. To do Mishabe Belev Sholem.
Even so, the Rashbam and Bobasa says, even Belev Sholem, you have to shlichut. And Mele said, Belev Sholem is shlichut.
Of the wife. No.
Anything about that, he has to involve, and he has to be like to be seen.
That's not true. The Rashbam said that Ano removes the asmachta. That's it. Then he adds the ma'aseh, the shlichus. But he didn't say that the shlichus without that it wouldn't work. He says it wouldn't work. If I throw it to the yam, it wouldn't work because it's to be bazachir. That's a very big jump. Mashma, it's a din bedavka. It's a part of the whole situation how Arevu works. He says, "En din Arevus elo." So Rabbi Yoshua gave an answer. He gave a svar that if it's without return, which means somebody was zoiche. Zoiche means and went out of his domain and went to somebody else's domain. But let's say he went out of his domain, but there's no man's land, even though it's destroyed, it's the sea. But it didn't went to another domain. When it's a serious act that I'm obligating myself, it's al chazor, cannot retract. But the other opinion holds cannot retract means as long as into the sea, and I retract is a serious act. He says no. When is a serious act when they went into somebody else's domain? But it went out of his domain, didn't go to nobody's domain, even though it's lost. It's not a serious act. Maybe that's a small kind of. Only then I take my words serious and I'm obligating myself. Right.
You cannot say that. He said,
very good. I'll explain what you said. I will clarify what you said, why I understand what you're saying. He's saying, if the Rashba said, when I'm obligated myself is not only when the money went out of the Malvin, went out of the husband. Only when it's serious and it's not in Noah's land and went to somebody else's domain. So somebody else's domain, it's a matter of me mischayet. Not that he's mizakeh to me. The Rashba says it positive. That when it went to somebody else, he's a bazachir to me. It's not what I received. When I received a real statement, he did an act that al chazor. Then went to somebody else's domain. Then I received. Then I'm mechayim myself. It would be mischayim. He's not saying that. He says when he got to him, he's mezakeh to me, and it flips back to him. which means, when do I get what I got? Is only when he received is the Barzakia and he's Mazaket to me. So I'm all mixed up. I said, well, I know that it is to me. I was only flipping it to me. He said, I know, oh, flipping the object to me. Mazaket to me. What is it? I'm all mixed up. And not only that, he flips it to me. I said, with him. What's the husband? The husband has to give it to me. And upon or words, I gave it to him, and because I give it to him, he flipped it to him. So it's like me giving it to him. Tell me, very good. I'm I'm vulnerable. I'm the Bernie vulnerable. Bernie vulnerable. I'm on Bernie vulnerable. I'm on, I don't know what's going on.
No, I tell you,
This is talking to Kivega? We'll see.
We say that there's a problem with, because if it's just a brutal, in the
Yes.
case that it's gonna be less brutal, it's not, so.
No, he says talking Latina.
So maybe it's not enough,
First talking.
just to have the anoe,
Yes.
maybe it's not enough, because if it's, well, the case of one brutal, it's gonna work.
So be less,
So
yes.
that way, we need the mezake. Now we have a problem with mezake, but we understand why it's not enough, just enough.
So want to say when I tell when the Orev tells the loive the malvim lend the money, let's see, also only tells him a pruta. So I know of chashivus of emuno, or I know of using of the money is very little. So you have to come on, then he flips. Okay, that's balvo. But by matona, what I have to have the flip? It's a full anor shimush. So I get a full anor shavaputa. So what I have to come on to flip? There's enough shavaputa b'chayim. Doesn't give an answer to that.
because when you have a loan and he's guaranteeing a loan,
And now what's up? And the simple case of was not a puta. Very hard. Yes, what do you want to say?
you guarantee a loan has to have, there has to be a loan that you're guaranteeing. So a loan has to be to someone who receives a loan. If
Right.
the person that can't receive a loan, you can't be a guarantee for it. So you have to have a bar das to receive a loan, or you can guarantee what's happening. Is there a question?
Repeat, I want to hear what you say. Say it over.
Talk about the concept
Of guarantor.
A guarantor. A guarantor is a guarantee that this loan that's being given to someone is get paid back. So the person has to receive the money and then obligated to pay it back. So you're guaranteeing that the loan has to happen to someone who has to pay it back. So that'd be a bar das. If no one's getting a loan, so there's no guarantee. It's not showing the guarantee until someone gets something that you're guaranteeing it, that they're receiving it. That's
Yeah,
what a loan is.
but how you get it's true. I agree.
So
With
that's
but why why those factors are you're lambda. You're learning yeshiva in 50 years, man. So the question is why those factors are essential for the lumdis for understanding the Svoras Adobo. The Svoras Adobo of guarantee can be through words or through receiving a no. So we are on the verge of the Rishonim that you received a no. That's what makes you. That's what they want to say, I know. So if they know what does it, so we have to come on. Why is it essential that for me to be guarantored, because I'm guaranteeing that the money is being paid. It's only a mikre. It's not the etzem. It's a nai, but not the etzem. The etzem, what obligates me is that I know that I receive, but that's why I'm obligating myself, that he will pay. That's only and nosu, it's not the noise. It's not the siba. The ikar is what obligates me, what I receive to obligate myself. That's the point. You're right. That every loan means I guarantee that he will pay back. There's no barzechia, there's no dash to pay back. There's a shoitis, there's nothing would be paid back, so no loan. That's only a mik. I'm talking about what I receive. What does the talking about lomdus? What does the other receive that he's obligating myself that he will pay back? Yes.
Another thought.
Yes.
So is why have to say smoking because Keilu
Yes.
is not enough to produce albums.
Great, Rabbi. So just leave it on. Why say the kilo too? Yes.
Has to be Balsachia.
Yeah. To be.
Mamish.
So it's mamish or it's no?
Mamish.
So why is it before no? To be what?
To be asma.
No, it's not true. He's talking about the reason of Arebus and the reason of Kiddush. No, but he said that's what it is. Aram Kodesh sleep and knows what to do. He said that's what he's mechanic with her. The guy with no, and now he's saying with the money, flipping. The mamish. You're all mixed up here. You're not answering. You're not. Give me an answer.
We explained before that. We
It's
explained.
also,
I don't hear the answer, Flavia. Yes,
At the beginning of the Sugya Rush.
right.
We say a concept that the Dibur activates the Shlifos for the first.
The Dibur is what starts obligates you, right?
The first, and then we need the second part.
We need our note to remove a smach to believe Shalom.
Yeah.
Then, after you do that, second stage was said, it's shlichus. But the second stage is not what does it. Here the Rashba says, aremus is the second stage, it's the flipping. And not only and the flip is not being done through the malve, it's being done through the loiva being barzachir. It's a whole big chiddush. That's too much. And why is necessary? We don't yet, I didn't hear, the only little story I heard from Rabbi Yeshua, that you need to have a serious thing, al chazor, to another domain, and if it's empty domain, it's not enough. That the rabbi said, but we push it off because they do that know of him. And here's mashma that person is mezaket.
I cannot say that.
Your svara, Rabbi Yeshua, Yosef, saying it's only svara and say, but still we removed it because then only gives reasoning when to obligate when my chiyuv is only when a serious statement is being done. But in the Raj was mashma that the whole thing starts when Ben Zechir gets it, he flips it to me, and that's what obligates. So it's a different thing. Oh, you have to say the one. Very good. Very good. I like that. Yes. He's saying it's all in the line of ano. So I want to ask you a question. If the third party is a shoit, is not being ano. If it's the first shot, he's a koton. He's an orphan, full of boils. He's scared. And he's crying. Food. You know if I know? You receive it, why not? What do you think about Zechir? Why Bar Zechir makes it more of a no? I would love to say that this has to do with a no, because the Rashba says that he repeats, the husband repeats, Shanatati matolpi dibur. So do with a no. He married with a no, not through flipping. That I'm marrying you with that I gave it to him. It's mezakah to you, and I give it to him. So it was through me you bezoiches. So do with a no. So we don't know why. Why has to be about Zechir? Why this fact about Zechir is a fact?
Katan or Bardas. Why it should be something Bardas and not Tipesh or
Yes.
Because it's not requires a mitzvah and the Kiddushin it's a feel on taking a mevugar.
Why?
Because you can marry Katan.
No, she's not marrying the Katan. She's marrying the husband. But her ano of marriage, receiving marriage through the Katan full of boils, be scared, crying, I want food. I don't know. You receive that or not?
The one question you have is that her dog, because her dog is.
Now let's see the dog's fun.
No, her dog.
The Ainu the Bekelim.
Yes, her dog.
Her dog.
Her dog is not really zoich. The dog.
Mishtarshe, we say Mishtarshe. The dog is Mishtarshe. It's different. He says her dog is a different box. It's like she received it. Yes, Reb David Shlomo. אולי מה? לא שומע.
אחרי שאיש נותן כסף על הפלוני 100,
כן.
עכשיו יש חוב.
נו.
עכשיו יש כסף.
נו.
זה התוכן של הרעיון. שעכשיו אישה, יש חוב ב-130. הוא קונה אישה. יצא כסף. האישה רואה הכסף. זה התוכן של הרעיון.
שמה חוב?
שיש פתיחה עכשיו. יש כסף. יצא כסף.
מצוין, אבל הרשב"א אומר שהמקבל צריך להיות בר זכייה, כאילו הוא המזכה. לא, אומר לא מועיל. אומר לא מועיל, הרשב"א אומר לא מועיל, זה הרשב"א. אנחנו אומרים, בשביל זה אנחנו יובל המבולבל. ברני, אני אומר, what's my name? I forgot my English joke. But I'm יובל המבולבל, we're all mixed up, we don't know what's going on. It doesn't make sense to us. It needs an explanation.
Let's go back because
Yes.
go back to the kasha of the Rashba.
Yes.
What was this kasha? What was this answer?
Okay, let's go back. His kasha was, Tzok Mudalayam should work. Why? Because he threw the money al pi dibur alayam. So she's nenes al pi dibur. Not the bishtar shalish. She received a no that he listened to her. Al pi dibur, he threw to the sea. He says no. Avus works. Ending Avus elo when you give to a Barzechia al Pidiburo. As to be, I gave to a Barzechia al Pidiburo. So only when it's a combination. When do I say I received that ano? Only when it's a Barzechia, he can flip that ano as if he gave back to you this ano, then he received the money to himself. And if I don't have the Barzechia al Pidiburo, I cannot say she received ano. When do I say she received ano that he used this money to her desires? When she received that ano, when he did that act, only when I can say that, only when there's a Barzechia means a bardas that received it upon her people, then I can say that she got that ano. That's what he said. And we say no, then one got why is essential? Yes.
She's conveying the whole thing. It started with her. It didn't start
Great. Why Zok Malayam doesn't work? Why a kroton doesn't work?
Because it has to be what she's doing has to be what she wants has to be a serious thing. Because it's a reality of her what she wants. So she doesn't want something done. She wants something. You get married, you want something serious. Her wants something serious to be done, not something not serious.
I'm sure I said the same thing. To be balanced.
Totally in her, not totally in the guy.
Yeah, I understand, but it's hard because I know it's there. I know it's there. I know. This poor guy, poor guy, a little bit retarded. He got money. Or this poor kid is full of boil and is an orphan. He got money. Do it to her. She received that pleasure. Why he needs to be a Barzechia for her upon her? Why for her to have a no as to be only that somebody received a Barzechia no Pidibur? While this Barzechia is a factor, I can't hear two yes, Rabbi Yosef. Right.
They're similar to her to be able to take.
Why not? Why? She received the no. She took the no. I know it's something emotional. So she received the no. Who received, right? That's a question. It's very tough question. Very tough question. This question needs an explanation, right? Okay, let's continue. That's why I'm. Yes. Yes.
All the people.
Yes, because she received the him. We don't care what she did a second later. But if he didn't give it to her hands, he didn't give it to her and he threw the reg into the sea. He threw it. He says it won't work. If it got her hand, she threw it to her thing and never received. Yes. Right.
That's why a loan has a serious thing for a serious person getting a loan. You're learning from the loan to this. It's not independent.
Yeah, but we want to know why the lumdis is needed.
Because it's a different. Because you're learning from a loan.
No, there's something intrinsic in the svora sadova, but I'm no. It's to be a barzech. That's the problem. Lumdis. That's very hard. Like you see all the Rishonim arguing the Hash. One say, let's continue a little bit more, and I want to see the Yerushalmi, and then we have to read the Kivei. We don't have much time, so I want to finish a little early. There's a group of boys going to a trip. I want to finish this Rashbo and this Kivei. Let's see inside. We see how much. Then they leave before Musa. Have amazing Musa. Very important. Why?
Because she's saying give it.
What?
She's saying give it to him.
Yes.
And without receiving, there's no giving.
Why? Why? ¿Por qué? They say in Spanish, ¿por qué? Okay, but he gave. So,
Now, if there's no somebody that was receiving.
why not? Why not? I gave her, I'll tell you why you're wrong. I'll tell you why it's hard. Because my Nesina is not the money, my Nesina is the Ano. I did it, my Nesina of Ano. And Ano is there. So why is that Mekudeshes? Why need it Miskayen? You gotta know that Ano is Miskayen. Ano is there. Because I call the phone, you need a Miskayen. No, I know the phone. I know what's wrong. I gotta know what's wrong. It's very hard and small. Boy, sorry, we don't hear. Okay, now we started to learn. When we see a problem, now we started to learn. Now I have to start thinking, what's the answer?
She's okay the whole thing, and she made a decision what she wanted, and what she wanted has to be a serious thing, because she went to decide she wanted that.
But if she decides clearly that she wants it, says, the Rav says, ain't no mekudeshes, because there's no denial. She said, I want it. Yes, Rabbi.
Benefit from the money.
Why should he benefit?
She didn't get any benefit. What benefit she get?
Why not?
But what did he get? She got nothing.
Well, she got pleasure.
No, that's not pleasure.
Why that's not pleasure?
That pleasure Rashba doesn't hold.
Why not? Why not?
Because he never,
He didn't say it's not pleasure. He didn't say that. He didn't say it's not pleasure. He says you need to be about Zechia. He says the thing I will serve as a.
It's not going to explain why. The Kodesh Ruach will say Rashba doesn't hold it. Because it's garbage, because it's not strong enough.
Okay, but I'm not good. I'm talking about usage.
Right.
I'm not substantious.
When you throw into the water, she doesn't gain anything. Because what she gains,
Doesn't matter.
she doesn't gain anything. It's
Doesn't matter. And if she gave it to a poor person, if she gave it to a cotton, if a cotton received it,
They have to say that.
why not? He's a human being. He's a Yosoi. He's a Yosoi. He's a son of the Gdol Sheva. He's a son of the he's a son of Gdol Sheva. He's an important son. He's going to be Gdol Ador. He's a smart. He's a very revealing mind. I can't count it's not a sword. Guys, you're not giving me a sword. I don't hear the Besmidrash here sword. We have a little bit to move on. Maybe Hashem, Megal for the sword.
All is no sheep.
Yes.
Opposite. All is not a sheep.
No.
All is a mice in the season. He gets money. What do you do? How? To make the mechanism by the sheep. Again, so where's the starting point was then? Till now we learn.
There's a no.
And it starts with the avus and the ano. Then it goes to the no. Then it gets kilo. Now I change that. I change opposite. I do opposite. Beginning is no. Ba'alim is no sheep with the when he receives the money, then it's Mashach. It's like, you see, usually the beginning and then. I do. When he receives the chiddush of that that a moment he receives, then is Mashach. Not when he's Mashach, then receives.
Good. First of all, I like what you say, but it's wrong. Why? Because if the second part starts first.
You got the soul.
One second. You have a question on it. What I need the second part. There is still the first part. What I need is if he says that the second part doesn't exist, why not? This is the question. I understand he's saying second part. Although in the beginning he said no, I think second. So let's take the last part as equal, which you're still not going to answer the steer. You're not going to answer the steer, but the question is on Svaros. Why without having the second part, he says you still have the no? That's the question. She said, she said, she expressed, she wants the Kiddushi. Okay. I don't hear an answer here. But I know a little more words. One second, I know what I want. Okay? I know what I want to get to. A little bit more, a couple more lines. Then maybe we're going to have a bigger open. A little bit more, please. I'm in the end. I'm in the top of the page, 4 lines on the top, in the end of the black line, the thick black letters. That's why by a dog running after her, she doesn't get married from the physical thing of the bread. We gave the dog with our words. Even though she said, I'll marry you. Only from the pleasure that she was rescued. She considered puto. The kilu kiblo imamish puto miyod as if she received the puto of his hands. So when the dog is running after her, She's not married because of the dog eats the bread as if she received the bread. No. Because he says, that's very strong proof. He says, when she says, give the bread to the dog. So the same thing like throwing the money to the sea. So lichoiro, she really received the bread. How she received the bread? Because he gave the dog the bread upon her words. So he used the bread in the way she wanted to use to give it to the dog. So even though she says I'm mikudeshes, she's not mikudeshes. And the Gemara says the only way she's mikudeshes only from a of rescuing, which is so important. They didn't say from the ano that he used that he followed the words. So they're also bringing a proof against that small of ano. He started to say, I'm a kaddish with ano that I'm giving a gift upon your words. Now he brings a raya from Keled that is not ano. Because when she tells him give the bread to the dog, you should mekadosh her by saying, I did with my bread your wish, and I gave it to the dog. So that's your pleasure with my bread. He didn't say that. The Gemara says, because I rescued with this bread you, so you got pleasure of rescue, that's puto, you got it. From here, the Gemara says, I'm against the svara to say that there are no upon my words that I gave my money to do your wish with my money, throw it to the sea, give it to the dog. It's not enough. That's all. It's not good. No, if it's organic bread, is like it's sprouted organic kusmin bread. It's very expensive, very important. You need help. No, bread is a big thing. Yeah, it's like mea. Okay, lachmone ve'eskada shani lechol mekudeshes. B'odom choshu. She gives the money and she says, "You important person received it. I gotta know." She doesn't marry with the money itself. Ela ba'anos, the pleasure that he received from her. She chashuv etzgebel kuto. Okay, so he brought a proof that although the Rambam says and the Rashba said in the beginning, when he gives the money to Ploni, doesn't mean that no of shimush, that she used his money upon her. That's the way she used his money, and he agreed to give a usage of his money according to her words. It's not the pleasure, because we see by Caleb, that's not the pleasure. Not the pleasure that he gave the kika to the dog upon her words. That's anas shimush. The Gemara says only anas rescue. Oh, so where is it? It must be that when there is a receiver, that's why a dog is no receiver. But when there is a receiver, the Ploni is about Zechia, is Mezake. So now, if the Chor is much more stronger here in the Rashba, that he's saying is that Mamish Zechia, and it's not the no of Shimush, because he says Kelem Ratzachia, it's not no of Shimush. What is that? So he says, not A, rather B. And in the beginning he said A. And the husband says, and he says, not A. From Kelly is not A. There's the Zechia. Says the Zechia A. And number two, what I need is a key if I have A. I don't have to come to B. And Bechlal B doesn't make sense. More than Italian Yerushalmi. ובגרסים בירושלמי למחיר טיפש מכאן. הזכרתי לבסל הזו ואומרה שליחו לים. She said, throw it to the sea or no, ain't no mekudeshes. He gave her money, she throw it to the sea or to the river, she's not mekudeshes. Tanel Oni says, give it to the poor person, mekudeshes. In both cases, nothing came to him. A poor guy or the sea. Okay, mekudeshes by a poor guy is mekudeshes. By sea mekudeshes, what's the difference? Again, so the Yerushalmi is asking, why is lo coming on layam? It's not mekudeshes, and give it to a poor person. It's not hers, it's the third person. A poor person, what's the difference? Let's read carefully the words, the holy words, the exact words of Rabbi Avo. What? The Me'or Olam. Very good, Rabbi Yishmael. The Me'or Olam. Correct. Our problem is Yerushalmi's problem. Good. Okay. But let's see from the answer if that's really the problem. The Yerushalmi, let's. Omar Rabbi Avo. Rabbi Avo answered. Right, so he. You hear this? Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Chaim. Right, so he. She wants. Shete'eh mekudeshes, that she will be married. V'teroeh, to be seen. Oiso toiveloni, she does a favor to a poor person. May we see from this Yerushalmi. Kol shelo nichnas tachasod o klum, anywhere when nothing enter her hand, any mukudeshes, even though she shlicha b'mitzvos, even though he threw it in her commandment, so she got pleasure, her duty. She shlicha b'mitzvos the mokem shel yochol litlo bayam. You cannot take it back in the sea or benor after mukudeshes. Why? The loy mishum, and the reason why she's not mikudeshes, it's not because the amrin on the shlichol ayam ledayt romanch. We don't say when she started throwing it to the sea means do what you want with it, with yours will, and do with me. It's not that. She really wants it, and he does her will. So the choiro, he did her will. She got pleasure by doing her will. Why should not mikudeshes? So it's not the reason that she just pushed him off. The Gemara says, nothing entered her hand. That's the reason. That nothing came to her hand. What?
סוס של הזהב בים, יש מלאך טוב, הגיע עם כסף. אם היא רוצה סוס זהב בים, צריך לומר שרצון שלך יותר מהסוס מזהב. עכשיו, יותר...
נו, גוד, או שווה או יותר, נו, נו, אז למה לא מקודשת? השאלה היא חוזרת פורקה. I can't hear two people one shot, what?
אם היא אומרת 100 בים, אוקיי 100, לא רוצה להתחתן, לא קיבל כלום, כן, בטח שאת באת, עכשיו חוק.
נכון.
בחוק שלך יש 100, אתה לא רוצה לשלם, להתחתן.
Right, זה מובן, זה בסדר, that's the way it works. Yes, that's the Yeshua says that's the way it works. Yeah, I agree. אבל כן, השאלה היא בסוף עדיין השעה שלנו מותרת, כן. What? Why? But her benefit, she's everyone. Okay, little more. 2 more lines, 3 more lines, and I'm willing to hear your song. There. Oh, he's returning back in a shout. Boy, Pishu. Eliyahu no answer. Boy, Pishu. Another explanation the Yerushalmi says. Come in front of us. The Tnei Oni, she's mekudeshes when she says give it to the Oni, she's mekudeshes. Why? The husband become a messenger of the woman to merit it to the poor person. Which means the husband is the messenger of the woman to give it to the poor person. That's Rashbam. Inami is Yerushalmi. Inami Mishudon is Doiche. Because the poor person is Zoiche. Laisha is Zoiche to the woman. The Choser v'Zoiche la'atzma. He's Mezakeh to the woman, and he goes back and is Mezakeh. That's why it works. When I throw it to the sea and to the river, there's nobody to Zoiche to give it back. But when I say give it to a poor person, he's Zoiche the money, and he gives it back to the woman, and he gives back to himself.
Gives it the money?
Yes.
It says that and give the poor.
Zoiche la'isha v'Choser v'Zoiche la'atzma. Oh, 1 second. I said 3 lines, right? So 1 more line, then we're ready. 1 more Yerushalmi. Inam, but the last sentence is the main. Then the next line is the most important, Rabbi. Be with me, 1 more line, and I'm ready to hear you. Ve'lav zoiche mamash la'isha. It's not mamash zoiche to the woman. when the Yerushalmi said Omu, when the Yerushalmi says Zoiche, Lav Zoiche Mamash Laishom. They didn't say that Mamash, the only is Mezaket to the woman. Ela Sa'u. Rather, they made him Kezoiche Laishom. They made him as if he's Mezaket the woman, to Mezaket the Dino, but that Jews to the Oni, the third party. That's what we want to know. I use my hand, and I'm locked in here to this. Very good, I like that. 1 second. Hapono do Isadi. This is what we want to clarify. 1 second, 1 second. You got the point. Now you following me. Again, the last Zoichem Mamash Laishom. We're not saying Zechir Mamash to the woman. Sahu, they made him. That he's like he does Zechir to the woman. Kedim Loive, like the law of a Torah, Shazoika that he merits, Lechayel to obligate, the Kabbalah he's receiving of the law. It's all the guarantor. The time of the Gemorim, like the reason of our Gemara. That's what
I was saying.
I know. But he's saying, in other words, Asahu. Now we got a little bit more information. What does the Rashba say, Rabbi? The Rabbi said, since the Mekori, Shali says, and the Rashba explains, that since the Mekori, the source of this Teman and Appointee, is Arabs. So I'm guaranteeing the returning of the law. I'm not guaranteeing the money. I'm saying he will return. I'm not guaranteeing the fine I will pay. But rely on me that he will pay. 1 second. Since the Mekor is Arvus, 1 second, he says, so therefore, since the Mekor is Arvus, we do know. So the rabbi is said, who's the rabbis? Rabbis, the rabbis of the Torah, rabbis are rabbinic. But I would say the Torah. When the rabbis, when I learned from the Matzinu, it's a din of Torah, Midorais. So when I learn Yechoinim, what I learned from Alvus, and the Chazal learned from Alvus, it's not a din of Rapon, it's Midorais, because it's Bari Matzinu. And what we learn it, they say we want to learn it like a loive, like a guarantor. How does a guarantor of a loan works? Guaranteeing what? This is what a little bit of what Shlomo David said in the Pnei Yeshua says. How does a guarantor of a loan works? He says, if he doesn't pay, I'm going to pay. What does that mean? What does that mean? So pleasure only removes, I'm doing a full das. It's no smile. Okay. But what really, if you look down deep, what is the schibus? What is the obligation? Now, my obligation. The obligation is, if he doesn't pay, so then there's a debt. I take the debt. That's really what he's saying. If he doesn't pay, I take the debt. How his debt turns to me? Because he took the loan. He says, he's my guarantor, means he's also a borrower. As I'm as if he took it, he gave it to me. That's why he's in exchange for me to pay the loan. That's the guarantor is higher. What is the procedure? What is the procedure of that he takes? Not how. What's he saying? What I'm doing here? He says, I'm the borrower. The guarantor says, if he doesn't pay, come to me. He's I'm the borrower. You're the borrower. Which means.
Doesn't mean that. That's not that crop. That means that.
He's
That's a plural. It's not that crop.
That's the inami of the Yerushalmi. He's not saying why. He's explaining the Yerushalmi. So the Yerushalmi says that the Oni Zoiche, so he says it's not a real Zechia. Just they made him as if he's a Zechia like the law of Reuben. Since the Mekori of this is a Rebus, so they said that so it's Mishtabet, or Mishtabet as if he's the power. Same way by law, I'm not going to see if he's the power, that he needs to pay. He says, with the pleasure is our smart. With words is my obligation. With love, I'm thinking to myself, I'm saying, I'm believing it. You can't believe it. There's a since this is the way it works very hard. So the rabbis, when they made the din and din around, they learned how he said it works in the same format. They make him as if he's so telling each other. That's why I took it in that. It's Bezak to him.
Yeah, like I said, when he says that Mima is only the Gabi Gabila stars, that he's the Shabi, it's up to be. No. Not a Kenyan. But still, when he receives it, that makes a Kenyan of the Avos.
Okay.
That is a Kenyan now.
This is the way the rabbi looked at it as if, or the Torah looked at it as if that's the king. The Dibble makes it king. Which king? And he received it. So now, that's why we say by Kiddushin B'din he received it. The woman received the money. He received the money like by Oren. And in order to receive the money, in order to Kino receive the money, you have to have a Barzechia to do it. And if you're not a Barzechia, you don't Kino do it. So because it's only a plan, how you mischayev, but a woman needs to receive money. Kino doesn't work. You need to receive money. That's not money. It's not. Second. So just two comes back. Sure. So that's what I mean. How does this so here the receiver is to the woman in order to as if he's the power, as if that's the character of the power. But that is to receive. It's not enough for Kiddush. That's as enough for that he's the Levin. The other becomes the Levin. That's great. But if the woman becomes the Levin, becomes as if we received it, it's only as if Asahu. So probably Levin I gain that he's the Levin as Didi. He's the Levin himself. It's the pay as responsibility as Shibud Aguf, Shibud Achosi. She needs to receive real money. So the receiving is not no. I've always I know enough to come on to Arabus. So my question, I didn't answer you. The only answer, why the second part, it's there because of Din Arabus, that's the way Arabus works. So since I'm learning here in Din Arabus, so it works. What?
It's as if she gave it to him. That's why she has a no. It's as if she has a no. It's as if she gave it to him. Therefore, it's as if she has.
Who says she told her husband to give it to him. Amen. Lo yavano.
Have to say the whole group of the Kashi.
One second. A very good Rabbi Yosef Chaim. So what he's saying? He's saying that Medina Rebus, you have the flip, and because the loiver or the Mekabel Matoni used it, that's for our no. And if you didn't use it, maybe sure I have no nice Bidibur. So I already answered, but still I know Bidibur even without use it. The no is still there. We still need to give an answer. Why the no alone doesn't work?
Stop dating him. Show the wood. She doesn't get it.
That's weak small. Because he himself goes down no. Yeah, but what's the answer? We wonder what's the answer. Ashas we have. What is the answer? is over. I think Yerushalmi gave us a point by saying that you need the Zechia, Bazechia, because the only point of this Kiddushin is Midin Orev. That's the way all it works. That it made it as if this is Zechia, that's the way all it works. Right? The Bazechia, because otherwise no loan, so that's the whole point of it. As if the Levi, because if he's the Levi, that's how he becomes an Orev. Because he borrowed it, slip, and he borrowed it, and he's using what he really borrowed, but he's the borrower. That's the format. So see, that's a format. Mention this, forget about format. There's a circle there's another here. If the question still come back, no, like if you do, we're still there, let's be married from that. I don't have an answer yet.
Already, it's a legal issue, not just a, but
Yes.
it's a legal mechanism. It's a dynamic.
Why? I know that, but I don't need that. I have another legal, because I have another legal mechanism, but I know it still exists. Spoken from our finance, I know. There's a lot. I know it's in the penalty. So it is. Don't get it wrong. If someone here, I'm calling it by swing it from us, I know. That's one of the questions. And the answer to each one is I know. I know. Why do we need to come out to the Gemara Steen of Din Oreg? That's what it is.
The Gemara. You get out of the simple spec of the Gemara. You use the shot in the Gemara. You can't get out of that. That's how for the whole point. They're explaining the shot in the Gemara. That statement. That she's Mikadeshes because just like that, also that's the Gemara's statement. What's the case in law? What is it? A reason. Right there. That's what you're saying to Shadda. Can't get out of that.
No.
If you try to say just I know you're out of the Gemara.
Well, I know that.
I don't care if the Rabbi said he's
So let's use. I know.
It's understood. He's talking about that.
I don't hear it. I know they got seen. I want to read two more lines. I heard all. They got seen on me also. If she said, give money to a mute, a deaf person, he says clearly, if there's no flip, okay, great, there's no arvus. But later, remember, Mischaya, Midin, we didn't give an answer yet. We're asking him. And now, the next Rash, I read the next Rash on the sheet. In the shoot the Rash will collect Hey, Simon Kuvda. The land gives the money to the buyer, the people in his words. He started not saying, the money came to him. She says the pleasure is the reason as if it flips to him. So there's always pleasure there. Even the flipping is only light. But what makes the shiabud even more there, so he says it's the pleasure. So it's worse. It's not saying the flip is by Arevus, and here I have flip and also have a door. Even by Arevus, I have the whole flip is true what we see by now, not flipping of the works. She received that she should receive the money, she got the pleasure of the money came to him. As if she received it. For the flipping. That's what I know. With a nice words, yes.
בכסף שלו עם אש. הגיעה אישה, רוטשילד, יש פה $1,000,000 עם אש. יש לי הנאה.
נכון.
ירשם מדין. על פי רשב"א,
לא מקודשת, לא מקודשת. אבל פי הריטב"א. זה אנחנו שואלים. תשובה, תן לי תשובה. גם אני לא יודע, לבינתיים. לא יודע, בוא נראה את הכיוון. כיוון, כן. נכון.
היא רוצה ככה נפשה. רב הונא אומר, הליפי לא פחות משי פותח, אבל אם היא רוצה, רב הונא אומר, מותר, רק רב הונא. יש רב שמתאים, חכמים אומר שלא, אבל פה יצא כסף. גם פה,
What's it? So after, שומע, אבל זה לא מספיק סברה כזה. So we summarize what are the options to give an answer. One option is, like Rabbi Yosef Chaim Schneider says, that you have to say that the Rashba holds that the ano alone is not strong of ano. Ano is rokmoin layam, is not enough of ano, somehow. But when Sabazechia receives it, somehow I can receive it, I make it, midin all as if it's flipped, and it's ano, and then somehow since the Bardas received it, if it's not about Bardas, Yam, sea, river, or not about Bardas, it's not enough of ano. When the Bardas receives it, it becomes ano. To me, it's very hard and strong. Yes. I want to say maybe a combination. You need to have a combination. Combina. A combination. What's a combination? That the flipping is only virtual, it's not reality. The ano of Alpi Dibura, it's a virtual ano. It's something which you have to come with a barometer and measure it. But something is not. So schot lefonai, dance for me, and kol lefonai is yes. So he's doing directly the dancing for me. So he's doing something for me. Here, he says, give it to a third party. It's not directly to me. So then you can say, you need to have a combination of flipping and Isaac. It's a very hard, first svara is a very hard thing because definitely you can argue with this. So I don't yet have a full svara. So the bottom line is, we don't understand, or I don't understand. I didn't hear a good answer here. In the Rashba, what is the Kiddush? Kiddush Zano, the Kiddush is flipping. And if I have flipping, what if I come out Tano? And why the Kala need flipping? I don't know. Those questions are very essential questions. In the Ritva, we say, forget about flipping. I have a no. And then we talk about this 2 times. He says, oh, yeah, both. Yeah, both. But now the Kiddush I'm going to read, he starts cutting it up. He said, this opinion or this no, and then only that no, and the arguing is not convenience. So the question comes back on the Kiddush again. Why each one argues on each other? Why do all those no don't exist?
Divrei Maskil, the starting point that he's coming to explain this whole piece. What the Divrei Maskil is going to.
What, Kiddush?
No, of the who are you the Kasha about? The Rishon that you're talking
The
about.
Rashba.
What is this Divrei Maskil? He started with the beginning of the whole page.
The beginning of Maskil is Selo Sheino Sheloim Mekudeshes. If the rock is not hers, Shnam Kodesh says, why should Shnam Kodesh be an olive? So his answer, olive is only when you have a Barzechia. When you throw it to the rock, there's no somebody physical Barzechia to Zorik Shnam Kodesh. That's the question was saying. And he said, because he redefines Arvos, Arvos is the Barzechia, Then we say, we don't really understand what he's saying. Yes, Rabbi. Yes. It depends on what? Right. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the Rashba is like the Ritva, that the Maskonas HaGemora is that the Shiabud of an olive is only with Ano. According to the Rashba, the Maskonas is Shiabud. And the Ano is to remove a smach. The Ritva learns the Maskonas HaGemorah, the Shiabud, not only the Ano removes Asmachta, the Shiabud starts with Ano. And the Ritva says, where's the Ano? No, listen, Pruto, the Rajva says, Ano, Bidibur, then he finishes, Zechia. So how would the Rajva, Zechia with Dibur? And my Dibur does Zechia, so I have to come at the flipping. It's Keilo, so it's only that, so I have to come at the Ano. He says, I'm going to be Ano. The Ano, the Dibur, I'm all mixed up with the Rajva. I don't know what the Rajva says.
Is enough to go from a spot, but it's not enough to be counted as money.
Right? But since the Rajva says, I'm going to be Ano, so Matun, the Zushan, I do much more than what is more.
That's not good sport. That's the other.
That's all. So we still, the question comes back. Why do you have to come at the Barzakhi?
The fact to make it event, to bring about that she has this enough.
Why others don't have it? Why without flipping, without Barzakhi, I don't have Ano, the nice happy Dibu, we gave him a ton. Why not?
As if she got it, she had that quality of as if she got it, then that's called Ano. Throwing it in.
That's it. It's a combination. But it's hard to when Ano al Dibu is considered she got that Ano and Kilu she got Shona Puto, it's only when there's Kilu flipping. Is Ano. Oh, so there's Ano, like the Dibu. Why is that Ano? Very hard. It's two needs. The Rambam says that he did away and then the Ploini begloro. And Ploini enjoyed because of her. So it seems to be, it's a combination of two svaras, but in the Rambam I learned those two svaras was only her or no. In the Rambam he finishes, it's not only all no, I also need a flip. So which means it's her or no because he respected her and he listened to her. Number two, somebody enjoyed it, Bar enjoyed it, so it gives her a no. But what how the Bar that he enjoyed without giving back is hers? Because Al-Pidibu means I freak to her. So they let combine together as well. She get on no. But she said, throw him on the land. That's what you have to say. It's hard right now. Let's see them keep it here. Time is that late. שהאישמה, הכל. שעה שלם, הכל. עד הסוף. תמיד לשחוט את הלימון על הסוף. Yes.
You have to say a new chidush.
Yes.
The chidush is like this.
Yes.
That even Schotlefanai, he can have a kaddish only if she says she's magdir, I want this type of way.
Yes.
So the chidush is when she says 10 money, the kaddish she's magdir, I want dafka this type of way. Stama no, she won't be married. If you just say, even you say, then you married with Dibur, no. She wants dafka this way, it means it has to be dafka in the derech of Owen. Because if not, it won't work. You see, if she was magdir, how she wants to get married? She
One second, what do you say? You say, you answer, you know why I know it doesn't work? Because she said, I don't want a Mekadesh through Ano. I want a Mekadesh through Oren. And when she said, give it to Ploini, I want a Mekadesh through Oren. She didn't say Midoren. She says, give it a Mekadesh through Oren. What do you see that I don't want? Yes.
The chiddush of the Gemara here.
Yes.
The chiddush of the Gemara here that Ano alone cannot produce.
Why? Because she didn't want it.
She wanted. She said, "Because I know."
She say, "Hey, not B."
If she wants A, she wants
And not B. Wrong. Because she didn't say, "I want A, not B." She said, "I want to be married by doing this act." What she say, Orev. She say, "Giving that, I'll be married." She didn't say how. She didn't say the word Orev. She didn't say without no. She did anything. You made a whole story in your head. Who made that story?
And the Rebbe said you have to prove the and in that statement. The Gemara is the and of one unit with two parts, or it's two separate things. I'll do this and I'll be married. So the end of the end is it one unit with the net, or is it two separate things?
Shaila, good. So what do you want to say?
That's a good. Going to explain that. That's the chiluk why you involved this problem.
Yes. Okay. Good. But Kiva, we have a very short in time. Mamash, but I need I mentioned some Kiva already all week and a half, and we already inside consecutive. We read it inside. Shulchan Aruch. Guys, a few more minutes, we're finished. Shulchan Aruch Even Ezer Siman Chavtet Sif Beis. He's marrying her by saying, with the pleasure that I gave upon your mouth, marry me. Can't go so far. The Mekadesh, the husband needs to say, Aram Kodesh said, you are married to me. With the pleasure that I gave Ploni for your sake. The Borev Gamkin, Borev also. Eno Mishubot Rak Vayano. Orev is not Meshubot only without pleasure. The Me'ema that is believed. The Goma Shabbanavshi. The Lomach must go for a moment Mamash. So again is saying the negative. By Orev is not the Gufa Moment just pleasure. Or so here, even though he didn't give her any Gufa Moment, give her somebody else, but the pleasure exists. Which pleasure? Our pleasure.
You need to be in order.
Al Pidibur. By Orev, and he is Al Pidibur. Tamuali. Comes Reb Kiva Eger and he says, it's a wonder to me. The Arvoch Arvotzon, your guarantor needs a guarantor. It's your understanding of a guarantor needs a guarantor. It means I don't understand what you say. The Rabasa Kufa in Gimel, Islam, Rina Beyano, Raktalo Levasma. He hears Rabbi Shmuel. The Gemara Rabasa saying the Amor to remove Asmachta. The Ava Kemo Imi Yekach. It's only because I say if is a smachta. So I need a pleasure to remove a smachta. Avalula asmachta, but without the problem of a smachta. The word shalom can obligate you. The Chemor of Kabin, Shapi Yeshloima. The Masha Mechaser, Momen Apidibur, I have an Esinas Kesem Amash. I'm losing money upon his words by Orav Kabin. It's giving him Mamash Kesem. The Kiru Nasav Natan Miyodov, it's so here. He's saying, the pleasure is only to remove a smachta. But without a smachta, without a power of a smachta. When I say do so, and he did it upon me, it works. And one way it works, as if I received the money, mamash, in my hands. And as if I got it, I give it back. I'm the power, I'm the Orev Kabbalah, I'm the Levin. I become the borrower. He comes to me directly. It's all here.
By us, it should be as if the woman received it.
As if they received the money itself. He's saying he didn't receive the money. That's not true. Among the Me'ema is only to rule a smachta. Because it's if he's to become the Levin. And the mother was a shliach of the Orev to give it to the other Levin, but he's from the Levin. And we see Kilum Rosa Venotan Miyodor. As if he took and he gave him his hands. It's all him. Wow. What does the Kiva is telling us? Kiva is telling us that every Orev, you don't need a law. He got in the Sinas Kesem Mamash. Kiva is saying you have a law, and you have Ki'ilu Asau as if it was a Namamash. The Rashba says Namamash as Ki'ilu. It's like was a flip. That's not true. It's Mamash. And then it's Mamash. I have to comment on us. I know it's going to rule the law. It's not the law here. It's only the ear of Kesef Mamash. Wow. Which means, since the Rashba learned does not Kesef Mamash, it's have to come in the So just stay with I don't have to say I know it's not Mamash. And it's not Mamash. It's combination. That's what we answered. We have to explain it, but that's right. The Kiva says, no, forget about it. The thing is, the all of Kabbalah by all beside with words, it's as if he's the Levin, and the other Levin is came from him. There's no son of somebody else. It's over here. So here. Yes. Yes, Rabbi.
The mice is not one. Because the moment she says, 10 on the 20, and that second, that no starts when the Kiddush starts.
Yeah, they treat.
Again.
That's only her holiday.
A moment, she says, 10 on the 20,
Yes.
and the moment he gives, you don't have to get receiving the money and all this stuff. A moment he takes out the money out, already is the kind of divuah, the man say, I know, before even he receiving, and before even getting it on that and receiving the money. A moment he takes out the money out, she gets that no.
But
The marriage she's
Yeah,
married.
they give
The
it.
marriage she's married with.
Say no is only to a smarter. They are no, they don't have to come up with chigan, how much money? יש פה, שמה וחסם על פי דיבור וכנסינס כסף ממש. כאילו לא סובל של מיודו. When he puts money upon his words, it's giving his money mamash to him as if he took it and gave it back to him. Give it to a third party. It's all healed. It's mamash kabbalas kesef mamash. That's a whole of kabbalah. והאי בריתבו הוא שכוסף גרגרש בשינו קצת. The ritva said the same, a little bit different. Achanami, וזה לשון, this is the language of the ritva. Achanami אף על פי שמגיע להיות הנוער עצמו מעצמו. Here, even though she didn't receive the pleasure of the money itself, however, she's mekudeshes that she enjoys the pruto. I mean, the yavel pruto money when she gave money. What does that mean? Nigally, the Rosh Hashanah, the Ram also money when he sees money the ploying. A pleasure, it's not when he gives the money to ploying, that's a pleasure. And I also accompanying the pruto, the tirtzelit and pruto she ploying the money. She's gaining a pruto. If she want to appease this guy to lend money, she'll give him a pruto. I give you a pruto. So she gained a pruto. That's the pruto. In Ken, that's it. Stop. So what does he say? He's saying there's a major difference between the Ritva and the Rashba. We learned until now that the Ritva and the Rashba spoke about only about Anor Korasruah, not Shibush. Kiva says no, the Ritva is not Anor Korasruah and not Shibush. It's an of gaining that I need to appease someone to lend money. I tell the husband, give money to employ me, and I'll marry you. I'll marry you by someone what? Now, in order to appease, to convince someone to give a loan, I have to give him a pruto. And I gain that pruto, and I have to appease. So that's what I got. Wow. So therefore, they said that's Masha from the Loshu. Is Cain Mashma. If he said, give a pruto, deploy me because I will appease a guy to give 100 zuz, but I cannot give if someone pruto to appease to lend the pruto. It's like giving directly myself, as long as it's much more class. So therefore, in the small of the rito won't work 10 pruto deploying only 10 money. אבל מתוך דברי הרמב"ם והרעש בו נראה, דהנאוסו במשנס רצונו. The man that playing to be glorified, two things. Her will is being done, and a third party enjoyed it because of her. As if she enjoyed what all the enjoyment of Roini enjoyed because of her is like her enjoyment. Yes? So therefore, even with a pruto, she's mikudeshes. Stop. So he doesn't answer our questions that all those tefillas exist. Why one argue with the other? It just says we see. The Ritva learns that they're getting married is with gaining, you don't have to give a pruto to appease the guy, to lend 100 zuz. But if I were here after a piece to give a zuz, a pruto, really, I didn't gain a pruto to lend a pruto. And that's the Ritva. But the Rashba and the Rambam are saying that give money upon my words, and somebody will use it. And his usage upon my words is like my enjoyment, because his enjoyment is my enjoyment, because he enjoyed upon my words. That's he got it upon my words. So his enjoyment is my enjoyment. So it is my enjoyment. It's my usage of the money. What about the pruto of the ritva? What about the pruto of Kirasruah? Okay, so you have all. They talked about all because you have all. I know. So we still don't have answers for all that questions. We'll stop here. This is only a preface for the sugya. I have to go a little bit deeper. There's a Pnei Yoshua here, very important Pnei Yoshua. Yes. Next page. Yeshua is next page on the bottom. You open the next page. The last words on the page is Kushas Apnei Yeshua. You see next page on the bottom it says Kushas Apnei Yeshua. Kiddush is out, then it's another page, you turn it. They somehow didn't ma'amid it right. They wrote the name of Yeshua on one page and the physical words of it is the next page. But that's up to Yeshua. In this Yeshua, there's a lot of secrets here. And he reveals, I think, the secrets of the Sunnah. Yeshua. Yeshua, his solution, his understanding, I think, is a secret of also. You have to say the Yeshua. Okay. Siyata Nishma, I'm going to say Musa Shus. Musa Shus. Very important Musa Shus. We have Parshas Tazria Mitzrayim. And we have Parshas Achrei Mois. And the Torah starts by saying that the two children of Aaron died. Then it goes on to the Parsha of not drinking in Mitzrayim. And it goes back to the Parsha that Hashem told Aaron HaKohen, don't enter after his children die. Don't enter the Beis Hamikdash when you're impure. Ad Kedei Kach, Chazal say, is to teach us that was their problem. They came impure. Who knows? Few opinions. Don't die like they died. Okay. So we understand the Retzef, the continuation of that story. But the question is, why the Torah wrote down Saras in between? We know, Chazal teach us, that the reason why Saras comes, why leprosy comes, the Gemara in Erchin says, Saras comes because Gavus Alev, Gasus Ruach, which means mortiness, gaiva. Or Lashon, which both are the same, we explained yesterday. Gaiva. Person speaks Lashon Hara, means he thinks he's better than the other guy, he's putting down the other guy, he feels good about himself. He has Gaiva, about Gaiva. About Gaiva in general, Gaiva through the action of Lashon Hara. So I want to read the Das Zekeni Mibala Atois on Parshas Achrei. Our Parsha. There's this Das Zekeni Mibala Atois. And he says, this is what he says. Achrei Mois, after the two children of Aaron HaKohen died. Zeu Shomer HaKosher. This is what it says in Ecclesiastic and Koheles Tesbeis. Katoiv kachote, like the good one, like the sick one, like the sinner. Eilu shnei bnei Aaron, those two children of Aaron HaKohen. Shelo meisu elo mipnei she'oyu ha'alocha b'fnei Moshe Rabbeinu. Like it says in Masechet Yuma, page 53. Kachoite, because they said ha'alocha in front of the Rebbe Moshe Rabbeinu. Kachoite, like the sinner, is like the good one. Sinner, ze korach v'adoson. Korach v'adoson, what happened to him? He got burned. Eilu nesifu. And the two children of Aaron also were burned. Although they sinned, and they sinned because they were aloha against the Rebbe. Omar Rabbi Acho bar Zeira. Zeu Shomariyoi. This is what it says in the Medrash. This is what Job said. Af lezois yecheran. Even for this, my heart fears. Ve'yiter mimkomo, to jump from its place. Lo yubanov shel Aaron doimin lamate. The children of Aaron are not similar to the stick of Moshe Rabbeinu. Sh'aramate nichnas lifnai v'lifnim yavesh lach. The stick, this is B'siyat Nishma. The stick entered the holies of holies, dry and wet. Shenema vayoytze perach, entered dried, and it came out wet with flowers. V'gam titus harosho nichnas b'sholom, and he entered b'sholom, and he went out b'sholom in Beis Hamikdash. Ubnei Aaron, And the children of Aaron entered the Shalom Yotzu Sufi, they went out burning. Why? You put the Torah together with Choyte. How come the two children of Aaron Akoye, they were burned, the worse than Titus? They were burned, the worse than the Mate? Why they entered in Besholim were not burned? And they got burned like Koyach. Unbelievable. Das is a king. Shlomo showed me this. But this morning I thought about it this morning. I was like, wow, I happen to understand. Listen what I understand. First, what he says. Zeu shomar akosu. This is what the verse says in Tehillim. Tehillim Ein Chet Posuk Samach. Bahurov, his young man, Ochlo Eish, the fire ate them. The young men of Hashem, fire ate them. Ubesuloisov and his virgins, Jewish girls, the word praised. Unbelievable dasake. We're not praised. Unbelievable. Lama, you know why? You know why the children of Aaron Akoyim fire ate them? Lefi, because the virgin girls of the Jewish people were not praised. What does that mean? You hear this? Rabbi, all those guys, the old bachelors, listen to this. How many virgins which are beautiful, sitting, aguna, stuck, anchored into the ground. And they're waiting for Moshe and Aaron to the two children of Aaron sitting there stuck. And Aaron, the children of Aaron don't take the word. They said, our father's brother is the king, Moshe Rabbeinu. Moses says Moshe Rabbeinu was the melech. Avinu Kohen Gadol, our father is a high priest. Ahimeinu, the brother of our mother, Nachshon ben Aminodov, Nosi, he's a president of Judah. Anachnu, we second in command in the Kahuna. Eizu Ishu Ogenastonu. What kind of virgin is good for us? Proper for us. Uleka. They supposed to burn it out of children. Why the Torah repeats? Right, he said right down there, Hashem and Moshe, once again, Vayomusu, it was a curse. Kloima below Zikor, no memory, no children. What's it say? It says that the reason why they died burnt and no children, and they burnt like Koyach, they were similar like Choyte, they were Toiv, Tzadikim. Why they got punished like a Choyte, like Koyach? They're worse than Titus, the Mate. You know why? Because they didn't praise the daughters of Israel, the virgins of Israel. And this is what I understood this morning. Yes, Shlomo, the guy, Tzaras. That's the point of the whole sugya. You know why Hashem put this there after Parshas that's my Kiddush. So I understand it this morning. Because the Yesoid, and that's when they got burned with no Zikaron, because the Yesoid is the us. My father is a Kohen, my uncle is a Melech, my uncle from my mother's side, the Nossi soil, we as Gakuna, who's good for us? The Nossi there, what happened? Really, they're great people. The Gemara says, Nossi, Nochi down, Nossi Mises. When you want to get married, you don't go down a step, get married. Because you put your nose in the air, you never get married. No, he's down, don't go down a level. No, oh, this, I want to know. Question is, my father used to say, listen, which step are you going to go down? Which step? How many steps? Which step? Why didn't you go down on? Okay.
You have to go down.
You have to go down. Which one? You don't know. Another side, yeah, another time I'll tell you what, yes, what not, what's your situation. But they didn't want to budge. They were out there at Bachim. They had a svara. Become such great miyuchas place. All those Jewish virgins are not, who know will not praise for us. And all the Shatchonim came, they gave him praise. I have a great girl for you. She's a virgin, that's Tzaddik, she's a not for us. You have to give us an hour level. Give me a girl that she's something, her father's something, her father's uncle, and mother's side of the. So what happened to those guys? Right? What happened to those guys? They're stuck. Now Hashem punished him. Like he punished them in a way like they got burned. The children of Zikorin. This is about that place, not my words. The Balatois is das Keni Balatois. No. So I understood this is what Hashem is teaching us. Hashem is teaching us Tzaras, Loshonoro, Gaive, Gasu Saruach. That's what we have with those lepers. To teach you that really that was the Yesod of the children of Aaron. The Gemara says in Masechet Nedorim, why children of Talmidei Chachomim don't become naturally Talmidei Chachom. The Gemara says, what the answer is there that people will not say Torah is an inheritance. So therefore they have a svara against them. They have a midas sadin against them. And my father used to say you have to work extra. My father, when we were little kids, he says, you see those kids, their grandfathers, their father, grandfather, uncles, you're not. You can't run around like them. You don't have the privilege around. You have to sit there and do nothing. Remember Shleiman? Does us kids all the time. Hey kids, don't play around. Don't you see those kids are running around? The fathers were Shiva, the uncles were Shiva, the grandfather, there's that. I'm an American rabbi, came to Israel. I'm nothing of background. Self-made, they say. Okay, my grandfather's a tzaddik. He's a shamayim, it wasn't Talmid Chochem, was Rosh Yeshiva, nothing. None of my uncle, nothing. If you're not going to learn Torah, you're going to be zero. She tells him, remember if you told your generation, my generation. She says it all the time. You have to sit on Torah. So the Gemara says, children of Talmidei Chachomim cannot become Talmidei Chachomim. Because the Midas Hadin saying, people say Torah is inherited. That's one small. But the other small of the Gemara is very important, very shocking. The Gemara says, Miplei shekorim lebnei Chachomim. Some people which are not in their power of use, they're like donkeys. We are a royal family, they're donkeys. And that's why they can never become Talmidei Chachomim. The Talmid Chacham has to be an honor, he has to relate to people, he has to, in order to just, he has to be an honor. You know, nothing of it is everything is a gift. If he thinks it's his, Hashem takes it away from him. He gets his Talmud, is learning everything. Gaiva goes away. So they sing his song. So why children of Aaron don't become Talmidei Chachomim? Because they have this Gaiva, and they call the children of Aaron, it's Chamorim, they call him donkeys. It's not my words. It's Gemara and Tzaddik. They call them donkeys. So here we see Hashem is teaching a lesson for generations. That you would think that Loshono and leprosy, it's Ameratzi. No. The same Yesod is even glorious of Torah, that they are careful not to speak Loshono. But the hearts, where the status in the mind, Whereas the Yeshua, they think they're superior race. They think that they're the families and the people are donkeys. So there is the same. It's the same Balgaiva. So what happens? They enter, they get burned. They die with no children. It's a big curse. It's a scary thing. So my chiddush, I understood why it's in the middle of all this. It's all the same sign. Why Hashem put this in the middle of, like, as I'll say, why to teach us? Why Hashem put it in the midst? We said the story that they died. Then we went through the whole process of Tzaras, and then we jumped back to their death. Why? To tell us all the same sign. And more of that, the problem of Gaiva, the more you meyuchas, the more you're Talmid Chacham, you have a bigger problem of Gaiva. You're more sharp, you know more. It's very easy to go with Gaiva because it is ignorant, aberatzim, illiterate, not smart, not sharp, not position. Here, Talmid Chacham, your father Talmid Chacham, your uncle Talmid Chacham, your great uncle, your grandfather, you come with Chachamim. My uncle is a Melech, my father is a Kohen Gadol, my other uncle is a Nasi, we are Star Nasi. Guy, Anthony got burnt, which means what are we really saying? We're not saying against Rashi. Rashi says, enter the Chazal, that because they entered the tumor, like the Shem says, don't become Tomei, they got burnt. No, it's about that. Why do you get such punishment like they are being children, like the punishment of prayer? Children, why they got such a severe sin, severe punishment? The Torah is teaching us because the Yesod was not a tumor. The Yesod was that they didn't get married because Besula is not all those Besulas that are praising their eyes are not for them, that guide them. That's what it says. They died. They didn't know Allah is all great, but they died. The real reason why they died, why the sin was so severe, why Hashem was so much midas adin hurt them, because in essence had a problem. They were balagayis. It's very big. It's a very scary son. Talmid Chacham, when you can do a small sin, something you get burned, much stronger. You don't take all those years. And it's another guy does the same thing, but Hashem punishes that person much more. Because Hashem looks into your heart, your situation. Where's your heart? Where's your head? You call people chamoyim. You're basulos loylolo. Where are you? It's a very scary mess. Hashem should give us a bracha that are learners of Torah. Or we should be humble. All our lives, and our children will humble. Learn to be humble. Our grandchildren will humble. Shiva Sechzit Kevin Amen. Shabbos. Rabbi Hanania ben Akash Shoida. Lord HaKadosh Baruch Hu lezanis v'lepika. Here the man who put him on the Tzemach, the man who's a very scary Ishmael, everybody knows who say, you know, who say, He's a